Hey everyone, it's Patty from PS Paper Crafts, and I am here to show you how to make some three different peekaboo cards. So they're fun fold cards, and they have this little peekaboo window. So there's kind of three panels to it. So this is the one we're going to make today, and I'll show you how to make that. I'll show you all the steps. And then this is a cute one that I used using the Party Puffins, and I used the little birthday cake to hold it closed. So I used, let me just show you, this is the Party Puffins, and then I used the, I have all my pieces here. I used the basic border dies, so I used this for two of the cards. I used this one to cut out the border, and then I used the layering circle dies to cut out, and I'll show you how to do this, the circle and the rim and the scallop circle. And then I just stamped the cake and fussy cut it. So you need something to hold it closed. And then you just open it. Isn't that cute? I think these are so fun. And I'm using the 2021-2023 in color designer series paper. This will be retiring. The in colors are not retiring, but the paper, every year they come out with a new pack of the designer series paper for all the colors, for the regals, the brights, the in colors. So they just have different patterns, and I decided I would use these patterns or this paper for each of the cards. So this is the Party Puffin, and I just stamped the happy birthday and colored them with some Stampin' Blends, and then I added some of the in colors. Now for these cards, I will have a project sheet on my blog. Just give me a little time after this to get it all completed and out there. And it's actually a PDF for each card that you can print out and has the measurements and all the instructions. Let me just check my computer. Okay, it's a little bit different. There's always something different when you go to use YouTube and Facebook and all of those things. It's kind of funny. So this last one is an Easter card, and I use the Daffodil Day Dream and the daffodil dies, and then the scalloped contour dies, and I use this one for the border. And this was a little bit harder to open because it's such a big piece. So I have the butterfly holding it closed, and I love that daffodil. It's so pretty. And then this is the inside. So I just cut the window, and the piece that you cut out of here is the piece that you're laying down. And then I just use a die. I think that's the only die I actually used from the Daffodil Day Dream. So you can use whatever you want. So there's the stamp and then the die of the butterfly. But on this one, I used the bumblebees. These are trinkets, so that was very easy. I just put it on a piece of dimensional and used that. So I think this is my favorite, but I love them all. I think they're fun and pretty, and they were very easy to do, but you need a full sheet of the cardstock to make these. So this is the one we'll make. We'll put this up to the side, put all of this away, and I am going to start right from scratch so that you can see the full. Usually I have all my pieces cut, but I'm going to cut the actual card base with you online. So let's do this. I like to turn it this way. So I have a cutting blade. I'm trying to see. I'm going to have to go up and down. It's weird because I see the big picture of what I'm doing, and then I can't see chats if anybody chats in. So if you chat in, I'll check you later. So this is, you know, your normal 11, 8.5. And we're going to put it on the 11 side and cut it in half just like we would do any card, any A2 size card. So we're just going to cut it, put it with the scoring, 5.5, and cut it right in half. And then we're going to do our same scoring. So we want to move the cutting blade up, and we're going to score it at 4.25. And we're going to do the same thing with the other piece. 4.25 and score it. Okay, and this is Evening Evergreen, one of my favorites, and we're using Soft Succulent, another favorite of mine. So now we're going to take just 1/8 off. So it's just that first little, after the after the cutting place, that next line is an 1/8, and it just helps it fold a little bit easier. So we're just going to go right up there and use our cutting blade and cut that off. So now we're done cutting. So let's get this out of the way. And before I forget, I just want to show you the new catalog. I got it. I can't show you the inside, but I can show you the outside. So this is the May 2022 to April 2023 catalog, and it has some really beautiful products in it. So once I get some in, I'll start showing them. The in colors that came out are just gorgeous. I think they're my favorite so far in years. So I'm very excited about that. And if you wanted to pre-order like a demonstrator, you could always sign up to be a demonstrator, and you can pay $99 and you get 125 product free shipping, and then you get to pick from the pre-order. Not everything in the catalog is pre-orderable, but there's a nice selection. They don't have everything right off the bat that we can order. So here's the one that we cut the 1/4 of an inch off. We're going to set this aside, and then this is the full one. And we want it to open this way. And I'm going to get the basic border dies. Now I did this on one card and I did this on the other card. If you don't have this, you could just cut a point. You just have to, you know, measure it to the middle and then try to make them the same. But I'm going to do it with the basic border dies, and we're just going to open this up, and we're going to lay the die here. And then we also want to get our layering circle dies. So these are the ones I used for this card. And let me just show you. This is, let me put these apart. So the biggest one is the second from the largest, and we'll put that aside for now. And the one we're going to cut in the card is actually the third from the largest. And then this one is what I used for the scallop circle. And this is, let's see, I always have to try to check. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, is it 4 or 5? 4. So this is the fourth from the largest. But again, I'm going to have all of this in a project sheet that you can get on my blog. So we'll put these aside, and we want to get our larger Stampin' Cut and emboss machine. We don't want to use the small one because this is too big. And we'll just do this. And I just learned a trick. You probably all know this, but I just learned it. If you put your plate a little bit down, the bottom plate, and then the top plate you're going to put all the way up. And I think I have a little wet on there. We're going to turn this over. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to do it from this side. I want to make sure I cut it right. And I don't know if my left-handedness is part of the situation or not. But we're going to put this way. We're going to put our piece, and we kind of want to figure out where we want to lay it. So this is the card again. So we want to have room for the outer rim. And I'll show you why I did that in a minute. So, and we want to have some of this showing. So this looks about right. And we want to make sure this is in the middle. And the way I try to figure that out is how much is on each edge. Okay. And make it kind of straight. And you can put it down with your tape. So this is the trick. You put this one a little bit back and this one forward. And it just makes it go in easier. Because sometimes it's a rough start. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to go back and forth. I'm not going to go all the way through because I don't want to bend this part when I run through. I'm trying to do it slow so you don't hear the big pop. Okay, there we go. So now we have our piece here, and let's put this aside. So we don't need this. You can use that for scrap for another project. We do need this, so don't get rid of it. And we have our circles. So now we're going to make sure that the piece that was cut a little bit shorter, so the top here is a little bit shorter, And this is going to go like this. And if you go all the way to the edge, it just folds. It doesn't fold and lay flat. And that's the whole purpose of cutting this. And you could probably cut it instead of an 1/8, maybe even a 1/16, because it is a little bit, but I think it's fine. So this is what our card is going to look like. Pretty easy, right? Now, actually, I should have kept that out. We're going to cut our rim. So we're going to take the circle that's a little bit bigger than the circle we used, and we're going to get a piece of the soft succulent, and we're just going to run it through. And let me use my mini for this, just because it's right here and it's easier to work with, and we have something else to cut later. So let's get our plates and put them in here. And so you're just going to run this through together. So there's 2 circles here. And just run it through. I cut the cardstock to be the right size. I try to do that as much as I can. And then we're just going to run it through. And we'll keep this out for another step that we have to do. Okay. And you'll see how easy. So this you don't need, but you can use it for another card, another project. And now we have this circle. And I think we're done with our layering circles. So let's put these away. I'm going to put this on the side. I'm famous for losing pieces. So let's put stuff away. So here's our card again. We have our circle, we have our pieces. So I don't know, this bothers me. If it doesn't bother you, you don't have to do it. See the kind of the rim around here? That's why I did this. I wanted to cover it up. And I thought that using the soft succulent would be good because we're going to use that paper here. Okay, so that's the whole purpose of that. On this one, I did it just with the same polished pink. I did the same exact thing, but I did the rim in the same color. I was going to do yellow, and I didn't really care for it. Let me show you. I have one over here. I mean, if you like that, it would be good, and maybe do this in yellow or something, but I don't know. I liked it better this way. So, you know, the fun thing is you play with it. It's paper, and it's not the end of the world if you change your mind. So now we want to put this together, and I'm using some liquid glue. And again, you want to put that shorter side on top, and we'll just put some liquid glue down. Okay, and then we want to just lay this, and you want to bring it right up to the fold and make sure top and bottom are even. Okay, so that's how we get the longer, because if you had a 12-inch piece, you might be able to do it one strip, but I don't have that. So the 8.5 by 11, and you do the 2 layers, and it makes it more of a sturdy card anyway. So let me just flip down. Hi, Dawn and Donna. Oh, Donna, hi, how are you? I see your comments a lot. I'm scrolling up and down because, I don't know, YouTube made some changes, and I can't see your comments while I'm watching myself to make sure I'm in camera and stuff. So I'm going to go back and forth. So anyway, we're going to put our designer series paper. Again, this is the 2021-2023 in color designer series paper, and this is the soft succulent. And you can use this side. I kind of like this side. And let's put that down with our liquid glue. So this is very easy to come together. And I think you can use it for any occasion. And, you know, I have this pretty one, but then I have this fun kid one. So use it as you want. Okay, so we have this down, and then we want to put this in. Let's put the rim on first, and then we'll put that in. So just very sparingly. Now, if I had thought about it, I could have put the adhesive sheet behind this, because this is very, very skinny. But the liquid glue will work well. And we'll just put this right around the rim. Get rid of this. Should have done it open, right? So I don't get glue on my project. Looks like a little porthole. So now we want to attach this in here, but the way we're going to do it is by closing it to make sure it's lined up perfectly. And you can put this on dimensionals if you want. I put it flat down, and then I'll put the circle, the scallop circle, on dimensionals. So we just want to put this in here, make sure it's right in the right place. Okay? So easy. Now we're going to stamp our flower pot and daisies in here. And I'm using the Flowering Rain Boots for this one. I love these. It's so pretty. And let's put this aside. And I'm using Smoky Slate for the flowers, and then Evening Evergreen. And I am coloring it with blends, and I know you're supposed to use black memento, but it seemed to work fine for me with this. So let's do the pot in the Evening Evergreen. And I love this stamp because it has like texture to it. So it's really stamps nice. It looks like a real pot, like a clay pot. And then let's do our flowers. The daisies, you can do the tulips. Although I think in this circle you needed something smaller. You know, these would be too big for it. So I thought this worked well. But you just play around with it. So we'll stamp this. And then we can run this through. I think this is the last of the cutting that we have to do. So this is the Rainbow Boots dies. And there's the cutout for the flowers. And then the cutout for the pot. Hi Denise, thanks for joining. All right, so let's put this down, and I am going to use, let me just get it. I like to use this Post-it tape when I'm doing a couple of things or smaller things. And we'll just put this right over and make sure it doesn't shift when we go through our cutting machine. So we'll just put these down. Whoops. I always shift it when I'm doing this. All right, so let's get this back in the picture here. And I want to run it this way so that I have my handle in front of me. So let's put these down, put the plate over, and just run it through. Now you can stamp it directly on, but let me show you what I didn't really care about it. On the inside, I stamped it with the flower pot or the watering can, and I don't like the way the flowers sit on it, so that's why I like to cut it. You can fussy cut it too. I don't think that would be very hard to fussy cut. So let's get this out of the way and pull this off. And I'll just save this for another cut, another day. So here's our pot, and let's put these back. And then here's our flowers. Pretty, right? And I was thinking of using this fork to hold it down, but I like the bumblebees, so I stuck with the bumblebees. And I'm just going to color this. I have the So Saffron. This is the dark. And I'll just do the center of the flower in the dark. And if you wanted to add some Winkostella, you could do that as well. And I'm just going to go over them again just to really get them dark. And if you wanted, you could leave them white daisies. I mean, that's what daisies look like, right? The Shasta, not the Shasta, the regular, plain old daisies. The original daisy. I don't know if they get those colors sometimes, how they get them. I don't think they're all natural. You see them in blues and all kinds of crazy colors. So we'll just color these quickly. And this is the light shade of So Saffron. So we have the dark in the middle and the light on the edge. So all of these cards, if you go on my blog, pspapercrafts.com, I will have a project sheet. I just learned how to do this. That will have all the instructions. It'll have pictures, it'll have measurements, products, everything I use to make these. So that's a good place to go. Let's put this down with some liquid glue. And again, you could pop this up. I just popped the whole white thing up, or white circle. So just be cautious. We do have the bumblebees, which are pretty big. Ooh. Oh, that wasn't good. Upside down. Let's do it this way. Cover that glue up. So the bumblebees are pretty thick. And my tip for that is to put a piece of embossed paper, cardstock, and I always keep them. I emboss them, and then I keep them with my envelopes. And if you put it over your card, it will help to keep it from pushing through the envelope. Or you could hand deliver. But that just seems to work well for me. And then we'll just put this on top of the pot. And this gives you where it can like kind of hang over the pot, which I liked. Now this will pop up with dimensionals right on here. So see how easy it is? I saw this, I think it was Frenchie Martin, but I think a lot of people, I don't know who came up with this idea. You know, there's always different people coming up with ideas, and then you see them all over Pinterest and YouTube. So I never know who to give credit to, but this Francine Martin, I think she goes by Frenchie. I think it was her card that I saw and decided that I wanted to make it. So we'll just put this right in the center, and then we'll do our sentiment. And I did this in Evening Evergreen. You could do the smoky slate if you wanted, or just black. So again, if you don't have these dies, you can just cut. You don't have to use a die to cut it. You can cut it by hand, whatever shape you want. So let's put this away. And then I like to use my punch. I have this Banner's Pick-a-Punch. It's one of my favorite tools. It does the point and then the inside. And I did the point on this. And I need to cut this down so that I have room. I only did the one side. So we'll cut it about here. And then I wanted the point, so I'm going to feed it in this side. And get it just what I think is straight. We'll see how it looks. There you go. And then I just put this on the edge. And I did that with dimensionals as well. So we'll just put the dimensionals on. Let me look at the comments. The comments are over on the side here. Oh, you do this, you do it all the time with the classic inks. I see Donna saying that she, you know, when we first came out with the blends, everybody was all about you have to use Memento ink. And I think it is better, but I use the classic inks. You can do it either way. But I think they say you should use the opposite of what you're coloring. So if you're coloring with water-based, you don't want to use a water-based ink. And you want to kind of do the opposite with the alcohol-based. So that's what I've heard. Oh, thanks, Dawn. These are fun. They are really great cards. So now we want to have a way to keep this closed. Well, let's do the inside first, and then we'll do that part. So I think I want to, I noticed there's a little ridge here. So I'm wondering if I should cut this down like I cut this piece. This piece is 3 7/8 wide instead of 4. So I think I want to do that just so that it's not, I mean, it's not bad, but as I was looking at them, I thought, well, I should have cut that off. So I'm just going to cut this down. I have a whole pile of these. I just keep them, my card inside. So it's 5 1/4, usually by 4, but I'm going to make it 3 7/8, just so that I don't have that little white piece. I think it didn't show in this card. Yeah, see, it didn't show. It depends on where you put it, how far over. I put it over a little bit far. So you don't have to cut it down. You could just, but I think this one kind of bothered me. See? And it's not perfectly straight. So if you were to just cut it down or just shift it really over to the left, you wouldn't have that problem. So I'm going to do the watering can again, but I already cut out some of the flowers. So I stamped them and cut them. I'll have to color them. So let's get my evening evergreen. And this is quite big, but I didn't really have a sentiment inside, so I was okay with big. And I have it facing this way. I kind of wished it went the other way like this, but that's okay. I don't know, it just seems to me like it should face the other way on the inside of a card. So let's do a quick coloring of this. And I'm using the same thing, the dark So Saffron, and I'll do 2 layers of them. I hear thunder rumbling. Hopefully it's not a bad storm. In Florida, it's been very humid yesterday and today. In the evenings, it's beautiful, but during the day, it's been very hot and humid. I won't be live the next 2 weeks. I am going to New York for Christmas. Oh boy, for Easter, to be with my kids and my grandkids. So I will have videos made. I just won't be live. I'm flying. Usually I drive and I take my craft room with me. But this time I'm flying and I'm really gonna, I guess, take a break from everything. So, but I'll have stuff made and posted. So see, this looks nicer, I think, than this one. And I could have masked this. And in the new catalog, there's new masking paper, which I'm dying to get. So the way you would mask it is you would stamp the whatever you want to show forward. So the flowers, you would stamp them. And let's see, you would stamp them on a piece of scrap and then stamp them on here and cover them. And then when you stamp this, you would stamp it over the scrap and it wouldn't show the top. I'll demonstrate that on another card another day. You probably all know how to do that anyway. So I'm excited about the masking paper though. That seems like it'll be pretty cool. A lot of people use the Post-it, but I think this is going to be designed specifically for masking. So let's put this on the inside. And I like to use my stamp and seal for the inside. And then we just have to put our little bumblebees on. So I'm going to put it toward the left. I guess I don't have to go that far because it is narrower. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, so now we want something to hold it closed. Now if you don't have these trinkets, you can do, you know, whatever little, a butterfly would work with this. Just cut it, and you want to put your dimensionals just on the left so it can move in and out of here. And the same thing, I fussy cut this cake and I have dimensionals down the side, and then it just fits right in there. But I thought these trinkets were fun, and I was actually wanting to use the brush butterflies, but they were too small. I couldn't get a, I thought that would be cute here. I couldn't really get a dimensional behind it. It was way too small, and I thought it was too fragile. But these worked perfectly. So we're going to put a dimensional. And let me get a small one. Actually, I'm going to cut one. Let's see. So you want it to be popped up, but you don't want your adhesive to be on the whole bee. Well, I did a lousy job cutting that one. Let's cut it up again. And I hope you know to use your whole dimensional, like use these pieces, all of the pieces. So we want it to be on this side. Make sure it doesn't show through. I feel like I'm doing surgery here. I don't like the way it's sitting. So I'm going to just cut it down a little bit. Ah, here we go. And the dimensional is strong. It's just that you want to make sure it's just on the one side. Whoops. There we go. And then I'll put some of these with just a glue dot on other parts of the card here. So let's see. Come on. I should probably use my take your pick tool. So put one here. Let me get my tool out so I don't see. I have so much stuff here. Okay, so let's just get one of these glue dots off, and we'll take another one of these and put a third one on up here. So let's get this stuff out of the way and show you the cards again. So this is this guy that we just made. And I think I might have a little glue stuck around here because it seems to be a little stuck. But I think we're good. So open it up. Isn't that pretty? So that's these two. And then we have the Happy Birthday, the Party Puffins. And this is polished pink. And the birthday coat, so I used a different border. And then the birthday cake. And then we have this one, which again is a little bit, I was trying to get different shapes, and I wish we still had the ovals because I think that would be perfect. So if you have an oval, I think that would be nice for this card. So you just want to pull that up and open it. Beautiful, right? I love the colors on this. So this is Calypso Coral, and then the paper is the Pale Papaya. So these are the cards, and I hope you enjoyed it, and give it a try. I would love to see what you make. Send me an email, patty@pspapercrafts.com, and send me some pictures of what you make. If you ever have any questions, you could leave me a comment here, or you could email me as well. And again, I'm going to have all of the PDFs with a project sheet that you can print out for each card that tells you step by step how to make it, and it will be with the video on my blog, pspapercrafts.com. You guys have a good day. Thanks for joining me. Bye.